times divorced, 4 times. Let's see, let's look. You tell me. What do you want to know?
What is the most toxic thing that you've ever done?
Okay, let's do this. All right, take them to court and then get a good divorce lawyer, of course. Take them for half of the retirement. Take them half of their property and then fight them for higher child support, okay? And a couple of years from now, hit you up for more child support every 3 years. Every 3 years, you go up from maybe 200 to 300 to 400 to 500. You bring it up to $2,000 per child. Per child. But I got one child right here. Kaylin right here. Her daddy paying child support for her, of course, it always is. 4 times divorced.
Alright, Shalom. As always, all praises, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakah Kodash, double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the elect, scattered throughout the 4 corners of the earth, the remnant, and Lord willing, this one will be edifying to the elect and straight to the point. And this is the reason, this is one of the main reasons, man. Not even main, this is one of the million reasons why Babylon the Great needs to be destroyed. You know, these wicked women in Esau. Fuck y'all, man. Because this type of wickedness is only possible because of Esau's Edom's laws. You know, supporting these women's wickedness. You know, controlling the dynamic of, you know, marriage, so-called. Because the scriptures tell you what marriage actually is, man. Marriage is completed when a man and a woman sleep together. When a man goes in onto a woman, when they have sex. That's marriage. But these women are not virgins. You know, these women have slept with so many men, and things were never supposed to be like that. But today we're in Babylon the Great. You know, we're under the curses, because I believe she's she's probably a Latin, Latin tribe, wicked ass Latin tribe that came over to, America and got westernized. But what she's doing is just spewing her calculated wickedness. All of her different tactics of how she gained the money of her partners. Because why does Esau make a law like this where it fucks him over as well, where you have to give half of your hard-earned money to a woman that didn't do shit? For what? He did all of this to destroy the men of all these different nations, man. And while he's doing that, he destroyed himself as well. Because Edomite men suffer from this bullshit as well. That's why we need the kingdom. These stupid ass laws and women speaking about, oh, I did this and I got this child support and I got half of his money. She may be the one that's talking proudly because she's very proud. Fuck her too. But all these other women that do this shit, they may not be speaking about it publicly, but they're doing it as well. They're wicked, man. When you have the two wickedest beings on earth, because Esau is a wicked. The earth has been given into the hands of the wicked, and the wicked is the so-called Caucasian race. But the scripture says this is Ecclesiastes chapter 25, or Sirach chapter 25, verse 19. All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. So there's no wickedness that compares to their wickedness. And Esau knows that. They're the weaker vessel. He uses them to destroy our men and destroy the men of the other nations as well. That's what he does, because these Israelite women see the culture, the culture of these Edomites, and they learn the ways and they fell in love with it, man. They want to have the whole big marriage ceremony with the big white dress, whole family get together, in a building, celebrating a marriage, walking down the aisle, a man proposing, going on his knees, putting a big diamond rock in your finger. All of these fantasies, man, which they don't last, man. These things hardly last, bro. Like these things are the older generation, has more integrity and loyalty to their partners and long suffering together. They have better qualities. These new gen people and mothers and grandmothers, they're not teaching these children, these women, good things, because they come to Babylon the Great and they lose all of the values because they're westernized, right? And it says, let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. She thinks she's gonna get away, like everything is all cool, and then what she's doing is not bad. But she knows it's bad because she said that he asked a question, what's one of the most toxic things you did? And she knows what she did was wicked, but her justification may be that, oh, he cheated on her. And that's the next thing. A man cannot cheat on a woman, man. That's the thing with this wicked ass society, man. Like Esau Edom really fucked y'all brains up, bro. Because these things make me mad because she's so proud, you know. And this is and we know, you know, us believers, we know that, you know, this is the doings of Esau Edom. Obviously Yahweh Shemel Shai gave Esau the power to destroy everything, but everything is contrary to the scriptures and upside down. And these women, just like the days of Adam and Eve, you know, they do the same thing today. They work hand in hand with the serpent. They carry their men to court. Who are they carrying their men to? They're carrying the men to the serpent. And what does the serpent do? The serpent supports them. This is nothing new. There's no new thing under the sun. That's why we need the kingdom, because this type of bullshit will not exist in our kingdom at all. Right? So this is let me see what else I had here. So this is Ecclesiastes chapter 7 verse 26. And I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, right, traps, you know, and her hands as band. Who pleases God shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her. Why? Because the scriptures tell you, man, that, you know, a wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man. So it's ultimately a judgment when certain men, you know, end up with these type of women, because that's your judgment, man. You're a wicked man yourself. You know, that's the balance of the whole thing, right? Let me see what else I have here. Because this is not meant to be long, man. You know, this is common knowledge. It's just that she was so proud, right? So this is Proverbs chapter 16, verse 18. It says, pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. It's going to blue letter because she was very haughty. I think I have it here. You know, that's the spirit. You know, I was trying to kind of like put together some precepts. No, it's not this. I think it's 16. You know, this is a different thing I was trying to go into, because yeah, wisdom, I can paraphrase it after I read this, right? I can just pretty much quote, you know, just summarize what I wanted to speak on, because these women will forsake you, man. When you give women this type of power, you know, you buying them these expensive diamond rings and catering for their life when they're not worthy, man. These women will switch on you faster than the sun comes down, man, and the moon comes out. Faster than that, man. They change like the weather. You know, these women are demons, man. They're very intelligent as well. You know, so you got to be careful, man. You got to have these women like you know, on a level. You got to know what you're doing, man. You got to these women got to prove themselves every day of the week, you know, when you're dealing with these women, because these women are agents. You know, they pretty much work for Esau through the spirit. Like it sucks, but our women are really not our women sometimes, man. Most of the times, you know, but they no matter which woman it is, man, you know, they're subject to these demons because they're the weaker vessel. So yeah, you do have women that are, you know, decent or not so, you know, wicked, you know, such as her. Look at her, man. You can just see the proudness on her face. Ah, boy. That's what I'm looking for. You know, this is Proverbs chapter 16, verse 18. You know, as we read before, pride goeth before destruction. And what we're going to look into is the word haughty. Haughty. Exaltation. Arrogance. You know, she thinks she's better. She's very proud. And she's like, fuck him. He cheated on me. I got him for all of his money. You know, arrogance and pride. Pride, man. You know, she feeling like she's above the law, like she's above men. That's her spirit, man. But what? The woman that you should be really investing in is wisdom, because when you spend time, you know, on wisdom, wisdom doesn't forsake you, man. Wisdom is the woman that you should be, you know, putting that type of energy into. Not saying men don't have women and we don't have our women and so on and so forth, but just look for the Lord. Look for Yahweh Shemel Shai in the midst of any woman that you want to take seriously. Otherwise, just keep it moving, man. Just do what you got to do and keep it moving, because Only woman, and this is spiritual, we need is wisdom. And I'll read it in the NLT. This is Proverbs chapter 4, verse 5. Get wisdom and develop good judgment. Right. So when you have wisdom, you won't make dumb decisions like the men that dealt with her. The Lord will protect you through wisdom, right? And mercy. Don't forget my words and turn away from them. Right. Remember what the scriptures say about women, and not giving your strength unto women and so on and so forth. Don't turn away from those ways. Verse 6, don't turn your back on wisdom, for she will protect you. Right. So don't turn your back on wisdom, because that's the only woman that has your back, really and truly, on this side, because our women are set up as a curse unto us, as a punishment, as a judgment unto us, the way they behave. That's why we go through so much trouble in the flesh with them, man. It's a part of our walk, a part of the judgment that Yahweh Shemel Shai has casted on our men. Love her and she will guard you. So don't love these hoes, man. Love wisdom. Getting wisdom is the wisest thing you can do. Right? Getting with these women that just want to steal your riches and half of your hard-earned money that you worked your ass off for. These women don't understand how hard it is for men to make money in this world. They just think it's so easy, because for them, they don't really have to do shit. They get opportunities easily. Some of these women, they just have to breathe, and men want to send them money, take care of them. They just gotta lie. They just gotta ask. They just gotta open their legs. That's all women do. These young women today, especially, and their moms, because this is not nothing new. They're being taught by these wicked women how to finesse and swindle men, and take them for all they got, because he cheated on me. Who does he think he is? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take all of half of his riches. That's how these women think. Especially in Babylon the Great. Right? So verse 8 says, if you prize wisdom, she will make you great. Embrace her and she will honor you, unlike these women, man. And when you put wisdom first, these women fall in line. Because ultimately, you shouldn't even want to be in certain situations with women, man, unless Yahweh Shemel Shai has blessed it in a certain way, and you can see Yahweh Shemel Shai, in that woman. Right? Because these women are not up to no good, man. That's the only thing. That's what I always tell brothers, man. Just wait for it to fall into your lap. Otherwise, just keep doing what you could doing with these women if you're dealing with them, man. Because these women will take advantage of you. Because these demons are working through them, and they don't understand, because they agree with these spirits. So because they're in agreement with the spirits, they're not understanding their actions. They just move. That's why they switch up so much. That's why you got to be indifferent. You got to grow. It takes time. It takes experience dealing with women. You're going to have a lot of men that pretend. And you're going to have men that have a lot of experience when it comes to them, man. And with the scriptures, it makes you a much better man, with the experience of, dealing with them, and then applying the scriptures, applying wisdom. When you put wisdom first, they fall in line, or you just don't deal with them. Wisdom will guide you and protect you and keep you away from these wicked women. That's pretty much what it is. Wisdom. When you put Yahweh Shemel Shai first, these women automatically, they act different, because they can see that your priority is not them. They're not as important as they think, because they're really not. These women think they're more important than they are. We're the ones that make them important. If men stop giving women attention, everything will go back to normal, because they live off of attention. But simps have destroyed the game, man. Women and simps. Esau loves simps and Esau loves women. These women, he loves to use them. Not even use a simp, because Esau is a simp himself. But the elites understand, that the woman is a weapon, a very powerful weapon to destroy men. And he doesn't use simps as a weapon, but simps make everything harder and easier for these women, because they throw themselves at these women. They do things that they shouldn't be doing. They don't have any wisdom. They don't walk in the ways of wisdom. They just walk after the flesh. They can't control themselves. So women are so used to, men behaving as simps that, it fucks everything up. Sometimes they stay away from men that don't, take their games and entertain their fuckery. Sometimes it's best not to deal with these women, man. The Lord will always give you one that, can actually add to you in the right time. It doesn't make sense to keep going and looking for these women in these times. If you have a woman, great. Just apply wisdom and continue applying wisdom. Otherwise, just keep it going, man, because there's nothing, you're not missing out on anything. There's nothing more important than this truth. There's nothing more important than, praising Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, gaining wisdom, and walking in wisdom and being comforted by wisdom. Because when you focus on yourself and keep, growing in the spirit and doing these things, man, women always come. Women are the least. They're not going anywhere. Women are getting older every day, and then the younger ones get older. They're not going anywhere, man. So, it's just very important to focus on wisdom, because that's what's going to protect you, as it says in the scriptures. Which wisdom comes from who? Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai. So forsake these other women, man. Forsake these wicked women in Babylon the Great and all around the world, because everybody, pretty much, the majority of the world is under the vibration of the West, under the vibration of America. So it's all one spirit. They're all under one spirit. So no matter where you are in the world, you gotta walk. You should walk in the ways of wisdom. You should be seeking Yahweh Hashem Yahushai 10 times more. For the believers. Because these women, man, it's witchcraft. You go on social media, you scroll, you get into a different world. I know what it is, man. It happens to all of us. You see all these women, gorgeous women, posting. And then it's like, damn, you want them, but you got to get to the point where you realize that, we're the prize. They're nothing. They're created for us, as the scriptures say. So it doesn't really matter, man. Just work on yourself, keep improving. Keep, giving reverence to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai and praying for righteous things, and keep looking forward to the kingdom, because in the kingdom, we don't have to worry about women, man. We don't have to worry about a woman being wicked, and doing wicked things and trying to steal our riches, because that's not going to be a possibility, because the world is going to be transferred to a righteous kingdom where only dwelleth righteousness. So with that, all praise, honor, and glory goes out to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rukakwadash, Shalom, Abad Babal.